So we were definitely talking about how to keep kids safe. What does it mean to have a safe password? Think before you post. And all of those things are still really important. But they have become more nuanced. They have become way more complex. And the level of sophistication in what we have to teach people is much, much more. And there are net new issues in kind, just like we heard from the young people this morning. And I've been trying to think about, well, what is the through line? It's not that we can do we need to fully reinvent what we mean by digital literacy? Is there something that has kind of been sticking around from those moments to now? And I've come to this feeling. These are not my slides, just want to say. If it's possible, this is my slide. Kids are growing up in an environment where technology is designed to be affirming and effortless. This was the case 10 years ago, and it still is the case now. And this is not by accident. Tech companies intentionally design tools, devices, experiences to keep us engaged, because that engagement leads to money. And in our curriculum, we call these, I'm really hoping the next slide works. Nope, these are not my slides. Do you mind just maybe pulling this down? I suppose that might be better. We call those design tricks in our curriculum. And design tricks are just ways in which companies intentionally design features to keep us hooked and engaged. What I'd like for you to do is, if you are at one of the tables, you have a set of cards in a holder. What I'd like for you to do is, with a partner, there's only 4 sets, there's 8 of you at a table. You're gonna work with a partner, ideally someone you've not met before, and I'd want you to take out the orange design trick cards that you see. There should be 8 cards in that holder. You're just gonna look at the orange ones right now. For 2 minutes, I'd like for you to look at those cards together and read through the 4 design tricks, and then discuss which one of those design tricks feels the most related to your experience. What do you feel resonates most with how your experience with technology is, or with some kid in your life? Go ahead and discuss. If you are not at a table, I'd like for you to take a moment to think about a design trick that you experience with your phone and share what that experience is with the person next to you. I want to point out one thing related to the question I asked, and it was, what design tricks do you feel impacted by, or a kid in your life? I just want to emphasize that everything I'm talking about right now is an all of us thing. It is not just a kid's thing, right? And if it's an all of us thing, and if it's an adult thing, then think about the emphasis and the importance it is for us to help teach young people about this so that they have the knowledge, the skills, and the agency to do something about it, right? As my new slides come up onto this, we're just going to keep going. The consequences of these design tricks are very real. And I don't want to paint a picture that design tricks are the sole cause for a lot of the phenomenons and trends that we're experiencing, but 45% of teens feel like they spend too much time on social media. Attention spans are continuing to decline. And the most connected generation, Gen Z, feels the deepest sense of loneliness. I am, again, not trying to say that design tricks are the cause, but they are a very significant contributor to what young people are experiencing today. And those are really complicated problems with complicated and really nuanced causes. But what I really think is powerful about something like design tricks is that it's something that you can name, something you can define, it's something you can reflect upon, and in turn, do something about. And so that is a piece of what we're trying to do with digital literacy, is not just sit in the negative and the complain and the anti-tech. It's to expose and build awareness of a lot of what's happening so that young people have a sense of agency. So if I have design tricks that I know are keeping me hooked, what can I do? I can develop healthy habits, right? I can think about habit formation. And I want to also just highlight that a lot of these ideas, like the idea of design tricks, what you're seeing here is part of our new curriculum, but design tricks and this idea of habit science is something that we collaborated with our partners at Center for Digital Thriving on, and just really ensuring that everything that we're talking about is backed by the research. But healthy habits are ways in which we can create actions and behaviors to support our well-being. So what I'd like for you to do now is take a look at those other 4 cards. They were the green ones. They are the healthy habit cards that were in the holder. Ignore the ones that are in the middle of your table. And what I'd like for you to do is, again, review with your partner the healthy habits. Then I'd like for you to match each healthy habit to the design trick that you believe best counters the design trick. And then you have a reflection question, which is now on the screen. Thank you so much, tech people. You are the best. Thank you. Because I forgot what the question was. Which healthy habit feels hardest for you to practice? For you or for a kid that you know? So go ahead and take another 4 minutes to do that. I really, really love the discussion going on, and it's very clear that these are pieces that we feel, again, as adults too. I just want to highlight, if I were to think about facilitating this in a classroom, how powerful it is for teachers, or if you're at home, for parents, to be able to have these conversations and have them in judgment-free ways, because we are all experiencing them too. It does a lot for students. These were the magic answers. There were a lot of people that were like, do I have it right? There's no hard and fast right or wrong. This is kind of what we feel like are nice, reasonable pairings, if you will. But any healthy habit that you develop to help with any sort of design trick is the right healthy habit. Let's just be clear. Okay, yes, we can talk about AI. It was like, how long could I go without talking about it? It's pretty good, 33 minutes. That's pretty good. Actually, no, 33 minutes, good. So what's so special about AI? A lot of things, right? As we said, there's the same level of kind of affirming and effortless, that comment that I said in the beginning, technology is affirming and effortless. I don't personally know, in my awareness of all the technology that I know of, where anything is more affirming and effortless than AI. And that brings about really unique and fascinating and potentially concerning challenges that we have to be aware of. Our Common Sense Media research that was published late last year shared that 1 in 3 teens use AI companions for social interactions and relationships. And nearly 1 in 3 teens find those conversations as satisfying or more satisfying than human conversations. These are net new challenges compared to what we were talking about 10 years ago. And with that, there are new skills we need to make sure we are building in young people. So, I want you to keep that design trick hat on your head. Now, design tricks, the one caveat I'm going to say before you go and discuss with your table, is that design tricks, by virtue of what they are meant to be these intentional features that companies do to keep us hooked. I just want to preface this. As we talk about AI, we're going to talk about AI chatbots and companions. That's the realm in which I want to focus on. And I'm using the word design tricks, but don't get like technical with me here, because there might be some of these features that we're talking about that are not intentionally built that way, but as a virtue of what the technology is, are ways that are keeping us hooked, okay? So I want you to, all of that applies in the way that we're going to talk about design tricks right now. So at your table, I'd like for you to talk about what design tricks do you feel like are baked into AI chatbots and companions? And what features might be the reason why young people keep coming back and potentially having a preference for AI over humans? Let's try to figure out what the why is behind that research that you just saw on the previous slide. So, you're going to really want to have a robust conversation about this in order to do the next activity. I don't mean to have ignored the standing room only people, okay? So I just want you to also be able to take a moment to think through with the people around you, and if you can huddle into a group of 4 or 5, amazing. Think about these design tricks that you believe are baked into AI chatbots and companions. Go ahead. And I'm just going to highlight a couple of the things that I was overhearing because maybe it will help you with the next piece. I heard that it is always agreeable, right? Agrees with everything I say. Never ends a conversation. So how am I supposed to know that I'm done? I don't. I get offered up a new question. And I'm like, oh, I should now consider that too. Always agreeable, always available. Never, disagreeing with my perspective. Sounds like a really awesome friend. Those feel like great qualities of a friend. And so just think about, and I think we all know why those are not all great qualities of a friend, right? You want someone to push back on you. You want somebody to be able to help explain something if you don't understand it. You want somebody to be able to show that you trust each other and gain that trust over time. But for young people, it's really easy when you feel a sense of loneliness, when you feel like it's easier and it's less friction to do the thing, you can absolutely see why it would be easy to just carry on down that path. It's your turn, based off of the discussions you just had, to now pick one of the orange blank cards that's at the middle of the table and create your own design trick card related to AI chatbots and companions. There are some markers at the table. If you have a pen, amazing. This is an opportunity for you to get creative. You're going to draw, you're going to name it just in the way, and you can refer to the other design trick cards as inspiration for how you might name one of these things that we just kind of talked about and what you were talking about at your tables. You do not have to pick the same one as the rest of the people at your table, although you could if you wanted to. And you're going to have 3 or 4 minutes to just have a creative moment where you get to put this idea and bring it to life in a way that, is drawing, is naming, and then is potentially something that a young person might actually see, right? And get some sort of knowledge from. So go ahead and take the next, I don't know how many minutes I told you, but however many minutes that was, go ahead and do that. And if you don't have a card, there's a couple things I have to say about these cards because I keep getting people to be like, oh, can I get these cards? I'm going to take the cards. Unfortunately, this specific cards there, please don't steal them, okay? And I know you wouldn't be stealing them, you would just be taking them. But we need them, okay? They're a part of a bigger deck, and I will explain to you at the end where you can access all of this online, I promise, okay? So if you are not at one of the tables, I may just come around and pass you a blank card because I think we have extras of those for you to be able to do this. Go ahead. Thank you all. I guess just to take a step back, what you all just experienced, because now I have like a timer countdown situation going on, is from one of our lessons in our new digital literacy and wellbeing curriculum. And just like immense deep shout out. I don't have time for shout outs, but I'm just gonna have to say a deep shout out to the curriculum team that is kind of the brainchild of this, Daniel and Eric. Really, really proud of the creative way in which this came to life. And I will show you where you can get all of those things. But I think it's very clear, as we've talked about with technology in general, that AI, as we heard from Yash and Sophia this morning up on the stage, that it can be both helpful and it can be harmful. And the real thing I wanted to talk about today is that no matter what, the human capacities are what matter most. Critical thinking, creativity, curiosity, and valuing human connection. Because if we want to make the most out of AI, you better believe you need to be a critical thinker. And you need to understand the value of human beings in order to have a positive sense of well-being. And if you don't develop these capacities, you run the risk of never developing these capacities because of the effortless and affirming nature of this new technology. And so there's actually a lot at stake when we think about what we need to help young people do. And there's good news. What? There's good news? Yeah, there's good news. On the main stage this morning, they shared these stats or some version of these stats, but this is from the same research that got published about a week ago. And the good news is that young people also feel this sense of what matters most and what's at stake. In order to help young people thrive in a world that's filled with tech, the first step is awareness of what potentially could be lost. And it seems like most young people are there. That's really, really important. So then the next question is how? How are we going to build those essential human capacities? One of the ways, not the only way, but one of the ways is making sure that every single kid from kindergarten on up is being taught digital literacy and well-being in every school and in every home. That's my sales pitch. Did it work? And I mean this so seriously that it has to be the same way in which we prioritize reading and math and writing. Because a lot is at stake. And so we cover it through these 6 topics in our curriculum. It's free curriculum. There's 13 lessons per grade in the younger grades, and then it goes to 18 lessons. We are launching a new high school curriculum in the fall. Really encourage you to check it out. There is a table upstairs that's kind of like the common sense booth, if you will. Feel free to stop by, and there will be a bunch of people who can share way more details about it, because I know that we're going to be kicked out of this room very soon, and I'm very stressed about the timing. But this work belongs to all of us. I'm saying this, that yes, we have a curriculum, and yes, schools need to take this on, and it is not just a schools thing. It is an every one of us thing. If you are a parent, if you are a coach, if you're a mentor, I'm assuming you are here at this Common Sense Summit for kids and families because there is some sort of kid or family in your life that you care about. And so the work is on you. And it starts with you. And it starts with little things. How can I value human connection? You just did through the activity, right? Through this activity, my goal was for you to practice those 4 human capacities. Hopefully you connected with someone who you may not have connected with before, or you got deeper with someone who you had known before. Hopefully you got creative. Hopefully you were thinking really critically about what sort of design tricks AI companions and chatbots might have. And hopefully you led a discussion with a partner with curiosity, trying to learn about them and what design tricks impact them. And that's what the curriculum is trying to do too. It's not just about what we teach kids, it's about how we teach them too. They need to be able to talk to one another. They need to build trust and community and a sense of belonging in their schools, in their homes, and out everywhere in between. And so when I say it takes all of us, it doesn't mean you have to go teach a lesson from this curriculum. Letting a child be bored for a little bit longer today after school is you doing your job. So I want to leave you with this one question. We're clearly not going to have time to talk about it, but I do want you to take this question with you as you leave this session and as you leave today. What is one thing, just one thing, you will do this week to nurture one of these capacities in some kid in your life? Creativity, curiosity, critical thinking, and human connection. I'm so grateful that I got to connect with all of you today here, and I hope I have a chance to meet each of you over the next day and a half. And with that, I'm 1 minute early.